You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Serhiy Sidey takes on Cameron Smotherman this Saturday on the main card of UFC Fight Night, Des Moines, Iowa. And this is a pretty evenly matched fight between these two guys who are both pretty young in their UFC careers. Cameron Smotherman, 12-4 record. He's 27 years old, 5'9", with a 69-inch reach. Recently winning his UFC debut against Jake Hadley back in October. Had a really good showing of himself, really good striking in that one. Was a huge underdog, plus 380. Ended up getting the unanimous decision over Jake Hadley, which brought his winning streak to 4. Did appear on Dana White's Contender Series where he was knocked out in the first minute of his fight against Charlampos Gregorio. So Cameron Smotherman, he's a very good striker, good pressure, heads off his opponents, doesn't follow them, kind of tries to corral them against the cage, checks kicks really well, very good head movement, kind of slips and rips punches, good at counters, attacks the body well, was landing really good combinations against Jake Hadley, and just an aggressive guy, action-oriented, willing to strike, willing to scrap. Taking on Serhiy Sidey, another guy who, very young in his career, got his start on Dana White's Contender Series with a knockout over Ramon Taveras. Made his UFC debut in a rematch against Taveras. He lost by split decision. You can argue he won that fight. And then recently coming off of a win over Garrett Armfield by split decision, where you can argue he lost that fight. I think he lost that fight. I think Garrett Armfield showed that he was a much better fighter than I thought he was. I think that he won at least 2 rounds in that one, but I can understand the decision going either way. I don't think it's a highway robbery by any means. But Serhiy Sidey, he's very tall and rangy for the division. 11-2 in his career, 5'11", 72-inch reach, 28 years old. So he's going to have a 2-inch height and 3-inch reach advantage in this one, which I think is going to be pretty substantial, considering I think this one's going to take place on the feet. I think both these guys are very technical fighters, but I do think Sidey gets it done. I think his range and technical abilities are going to be a little bit too much for Smotherman. He has really good head kicks, teep kicks, spinning kicks, mixes it up very well, whereas Smotherman's more of a kind of just primarily a boxer, doesn't really have a lot of grappling or wrestling from what I've seen. And Sidey, I think he's just going to be able to utilize his range and his reach advantage very well, mix it up with takedowns, step-in elbows that we saw him use very well against Garrett Armfield, against the shorter fighters when they have to kind of really step into the pocket to engage, to reach him. He's meeting him with elbows. So, and the same with his jab, has a very good long, stiff jab that he fights behind, because he's usually got the reach advantage, and guys got to come to him. So I think he has the power advantage as well, and I think he has the better grappling. I think he'll be shooting takedowns. Looking at Cameron Smotherman's career, he was struggling against Mando Gutierrez in their fight. Ended up winning that one by flying knee, I think it was. Just Gutierrez was kind of gassing out in that fight with all the wrestling that was going on. I just think Sidey, he'll be too technical, too long and rangy. I think he'll have the variety of strikes advantage. He'll be the one kicking, throwing, kicks all levels, as well as mixing in his long rangy combos and mixing in his takedowns as well, en route to a decision win in this one. Thanks.